Hello? Hello? Is anybody here? I swear, what is going on? First they send me to a damn space prison, and now they send me to this weird ship. Why they keep wanting to get rid of me? Sure, you make one mistake, and you shoot your partner in the dick, and they ship you off to a space prison, and now this place. And everybody died in the damn space prison. I don't know what's going on around here. It just messes with me. It feels like they're just passing me around like a blunt at a Snoop Dogg concert. I mean, at least this time they gave me a gun. Look at this little thing. What's this, a dang noisy cricket? But seriously, where is everybody? Let me go over here this way. Well. Why does everything got to be built like this too? You don't need to have giant cranes and grinders everywhere. And where the hell is everybody? Are they on some sort of union break? Wait a minute. This feels so weird. Like this is exactly what has happened to me before. It's like a weird case of deja vu. Oh no, I know why they gave me a gun this time. This is like the last time. There's gonna be monsters here that's gonna try to kill me. Oh, that's why no one's around. We're all dead. Oh my God. Oh, this ain't gonna work. It's the most hideous beast monster I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. Oh, screw this. I'm getting out of here. I quit.
Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back finally with my review for Dead Space Remake. I know it took me a while to get this one out, but I wanted to play through it a second time to make sure they didn't change anything with the day one patch, and fortunately, they did not. So let's get straight to it. This game was published by Electronic Arts and developed by Motive Studios, and released on January 27th of 2023 on the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X and S, and Windows. Now, if you haven't ever played Dead Space, which if you're like one of the 5 million people who ever haven't, honestly, I'm going to run down a short plot synopsis. Here it goes. The sci-fi survival horror classic Dead Space returns, completely rebuilt from the ground up to offer a deeper and more immersive experience. This remake brings jaw-dropping visual fidelity, suspenseful atmospheric audio, and improvements to gameplay while staying faithful to the original game's thrilling vision. Isaac Clarke is an everyman engineer on a mission to repair a vast mining ship, the USG Isamura, only to discover something has gone horribly wrong. That kind of basically sums it up. So if you were expecting them to change the plot of the original Dead Space, fortunately they do not. This is actually a remake done right. I have to say it, even though I absolutely can't stand Electronic Arts. I have to actually say this is a fantastic remake. Now let's get into some of the improvements that this has over the original. First of all, the graphics. Obviously, they rebuilt it from the ground up. I think using the Frostbite engine, which I'm not a fan of Frostbite, but it does look very pretty here. Everything from the lighting, the smoke effects, the textures. It's not new textures, it's just better high resolution textures that they use. And the other thing I noticed is interactive fog. So if there's areas with fog and you pass through them, Isaac's legs actually cuts through the fog, which is a nice little addition. Also sparks that act very realistically. They'll bounce off of you, they'll bounce off of surfaces. And when you're in the zero G areas, the sparks actually fly in zero G. It actually is quite impressive. I mean, honestly, the hands down, the graphics are really up there. Now, along with this, they did update Isaac's suit design. It does look different than the original one, but they did it for a purpose in mind. It's visually is a lot more striking. It seems to be bulkier and a lot more detail and texture on it that really adds to the overall character. Realize the weight of the suit that he has to wear through his adventure. Now, you can't talk about this without the one thing that people kind of got up in arms about, and that's the fact that Isaac now talks. He is not a silent protagonist in this. Now, my personal feeling is you can have a game with characters talk way too damn much, like Forspoken, and other games where they don't talk enough. I'm going to say this, my personal feeling is I don't think Isaac talks enough in this. There are certain things he'll react to, which is great, like people being killed, and he's like, oh my God. But then there's other times someone will kill themselves right in front of him, and he doesn't say or do anything. At least maybe add some new body mannerisms where he acts a little like, oh my God. But, to me, it seems like they didn't really add enough of Isaac interacting along the way. Now, because of this, they did have to slightly tweak the story since Isaac's actually talking now and not a silent protagonist. Because the original game, you could play it out almost like like him going mad in his own mind. Okay, but this, since he actually physically actually talks to people, they did tweak the story a little bit. And I'm not going to get into details how it actually affects anything. It's still overall the same plot, thank goodness. Now, also along with that, since they brought back the voice actor of Isaac Clarke, Gunnar Wright, they actually textured Isaac's face and is now modeled after him. So when you see him in the game, that's basically like what a younger version of Gunnar Wright actually looks like, which I actually think is really cool because, let's be honest, the dude's played Isaac for so long, it's nice for him to actually appear as him in the game now. And of course, the one place we all know and love is back, this time bigger, better, and badder than before. That's right, the good old Ishimura. Now, they did actually do some changes to it, which I actually think improves it. Kind of similar like to the Resident Evil 2 remake they did a while back, where they did add some stuff and move some stuff around. They did that here too, but it actually seems to work for the better. Now, first of all, the one thing is they included the ability to fly for you to travel through weightlessness from Dead Space 2, which is fantastic, so you don't have to worry about the magnetic boot jumps like you did before. And honestly, the PS5 version, the audio is fantastic, but they also add a lot of good DualSense effects. The DualSense controller, you can feel the tactile sensation of like stuff exploding, your weapons firing, the enemies screaming, and you can actually feel it in the controller, which always adds a lot. Anyone who doesn't ever played a PS5, I will say, at least borrow a friend's or check it out just for the controller at least once. Certain games, it really does add a lot to it, and this one it does as well. Now, like I said, there's slight redesigns to the Ishimura to add different new areas. There's like I swear there's new rooms, and there's the layout has been changed a little bit. Now, not everything is exactly the same as the original game. They did, like I said, they did tweak a lot of stuff to different spots that also allows for like easier connectivity and backtracking as you go through the story, which actually makes it a lot better and fun, and especially considering there's no load time. So when you get on a tram and you're traveling, normally it would go to a cut scene or something, or they go to a loading screen. Now it doesn't. It'll just pop up a different chapter right on the screen. No load times. It's fantastic. They added, like I said, a lot of stuff that makes the traversal easier, some new rooms and stuff like that, and the ability of security clearance. So now there'll be certain rooms and items that you can't get to until you get a higher security clearance, and this adds a neat little new ability that you can get alternate firings, alternate ways to fire your weapons with these security clearances. Once you get a higher security clearance, you can go into a room you weren't able to before and get an upgrade for your weapon to add like a secondary effect. Honestly, everything from the buzzsaw blades, you can bounce them around like ping pong balls now, to your flamethrower, you can set up a big magma wall of flames to kill the enemies. That is a fantastic fantastic way of adding backtracking to a game with some new additions and new move sets for your weapons. Absolutely loved it. Now, the other new addition to it is the addition of fuse puzzles. And it's not, you don't really think it's that major at first, but it can be quite downright suspenseful and stressing. It stresses me out every time I see a fuse puzzle. You'll come to a fuse on the wall, and it's obvious you can direct the fuse by relocating it to a different spot, which will change the power. It'll change it from going one end to another. Now, it might help you open up a door or a new passageway, which is great, but then you always have to lose something in return. Anything from either you losing the lighting, which is always great in a game like this when you can't see anything, with the monsters jumping out trying to kill you everywhere, or you'll lose the ability to have oxygen. So you'll have that nice little counter on your back, and you got to hurry to get to the next place before you suffocate. It's nothing quite like adding a little bit more stress to an already overall stressful game. Now, as for the sound, oh my dear Lord, the sound has been completely overhauled here. It sounds fantastic with the 3D audio, and I swear, even though I'm deaf, I swear you can place the sound sounds like it reflects off of walls now. It's really, really cool, and with the fact that the original had it where you're hearing people tell you stuff, like you hear voices in your head and stuff, it adds so much to the overall suspenseful atmosphere and just the overall quality of this game. Now, I also have to say this. They did tweak some stuff. There are some areas they downright removed from the game. Let's be honest. You know that asteroid blasting section that no one liked? They removed it. They took it out of this to where you don't have to deal with the asteroid blasting. But now instead they have it to where you're going out in a zero-G area, avoiding asteroids hitting you, that you have to go and calibrate the ship's defense system. Honestly, the tweaks and additions they've done to this game are actually all warranted. They did the right thing. They made the right call, seriously. And like I said, since they added the ability for your space flight from part 2 instead of the magnetic jumpy boots, you can just use space flight now. So it's fantastic. Now, one thing I have noticed is it doesn't appear like they added any new enemies, which, while it's a disappointment, it's not really a detriment. The first game had more than enough enemy variety, and they were disturbing enough to where I don't think you're going to be too upset with them. All your fan favorites return, and they look better, and they're just disturbing. And the fact that now they all have health meters. Now, what I mean by that, the health meters is actually the enemy's body. As you shoot them, it blows away the flesh away from their bones, and you can tell how far you got to go before you've defeated them, which is a very nerve-wracking, disturbing way of adding it to where you can tell when the enemy's about to be defeated. I absolutely love it. Now, because of this, EA thought, well, it might be too gory for most people nowadays. Because after all, when you think of Dead Space, you think, that's not gory. It's not going to be violent. So they actually have some special features that allow you to turn off the extreme gore. So if you want to play this game and you're squeamish and you don't want to see the high depth resolution of the score, you can actually modify it and turn it off. So, well, that's kind of cool too. Now, as for overall game length, this is pretty much about the same length as the original version, consisting of 12 different chapters. Each chapter can last you around an hour each, so you're looking at about 12 to 14 hours long. You can make it a lot longer if you're looking through every nook and cranny and backtracking to collect every item, and yes, you can still speedrun it. The overall price isn't too bad. It is a remake, and they want $60 for the remake, which honestly isn't that bad of a deal if you think about what they did. This is not just a slapdash together remake. They actually took the time and made a quality product, and it does show. So for $60, I don't think that's a bad price, honestly, for PS5 and Xbox Series X, since most games are $70 now. Now, don't worry though, they do have a deluxe edition for $70 that includes 5 different new suits. Keep in mind, they're supposedly only for cosmetic purposes only. You get the Infested suit, the Bloody suit, the Lone Survivor suit, the Adventure suit, and the Sanctified suit. Some of these look really cool, but once again, they're just visual. They're just cosmetic. And if that is true, I don't have a problem with that. Honestly, if you want Isaac looking cool, I don't see a problem with that at all. But in the end, I have to say, even though I absolutely hate Electronic Arts, I think that Motive Studios did a fantastic job with this. Dead Space Remake, hands down, is a excellent remake of an already fantastic game. I just hate EA for destroying the company Visceral Studios or whatever that made the Dead Space games, because if they wouldn't have done that and they would have just kept them around, maybe instead of the Dead Space remake, we would be getting Dead Space 4 on PS5, where we could finally finish off the story and find out what actually happens to Isaac Clarke and everybody in Earth. But instead, no, I think they're going to redo all their games again, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because maybe in the future, they might just actually go ahead and finally give us what we want. Closure to the main story with Dead Space 4. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog. I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this review. Give me lots of comments for me to answer each and every single one of them. If you feel like I've missed something about this on this review, or if there's something that you want to add, remember please to subscribe to my channel. And of course, here at Devil Dog Gaming, we always end our videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.